Welcome back to the news at 10. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachiku, has commended the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board for the feat achieved in the fabrication of the Egina FPSO. Dr. Kachiku toured the Egina facility at the Lado premises in company of the Executive Secretary of the NCDMB Board and other heads of international oil companies. Our energy correspondent, Olu Phillips, reports.
Strong personalities that represent the face of Nigeria's oil and gas sector. The men who pushed the envelopes behind the scene, and today we have Egina FPSO, first project of its magnitude with heavy input by Nigerians.
The project itself simply raised the bar in local participation in various scopes, covering not just the FPSO, wells, subsea production systems, umbilicals, flow lines and risers, and also offloading buoy. The argument that has always been put forward by project promoters that it is expensive, they cannot deliver on schedule, we have today used the Egina project to bury that argument forever.
We have not had any lost injury in this whole project, which is commendable. So I give credit to the Executive Secretary of NCDMB for giving us the push.
When in 2010, Nigeria's former president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, signed the local content draft into law, not many saw the extent of its impact. 8 years on, NCDMB's strong management has carried on, and we have Egina, a 200,000 barrel per day production floating vessel.
What they've done is they've set a benchmark for us. Everybody who wants to do projects has got to talk post Egina, and that's very nice.
We have the support of the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, we had the great support of NCDMB throughout the process. And of course, the collective objective is to complete.
Over 8,000 Nigerians were trained who have become international welders just by the singular decision by Total on Egina, as supported by NCDMB.
The bid that were given to Nigerians was completed ahead of schedule. So in other words, there is nothing that we cannot achieve here in Nigeria if we put our minds to it.
We were very resilient, we persevered, and NCDMB actually held us by the hands and made us weather through the storm.
Not even the fall in oil price to $27 per barrel hampered the resilience over this project the NCDMB is proud to present to Nigerians. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
Let's take a look at some business news now. Here's Emana Amawe.
You first. First Bank.
Thank you, Joma. Welcome to Business News. The central bank has announced its intention to deploy information technology for input distribution to farmers who are currently participating in the Anchor Borrower Program. The special advisor to the CBN Governor on Agriculture, Mr. Olatunde Akonde, disclosed the plan at the flag-off ceremony for the pilot phase of the program for the North Central region in Abuja. He says the initiative will guard against false claims by participating farmers.
If you are working with smallholder farmers especially, because they are diverse, there are so many of them. For instance, Rifan has about 12 million rice farmers membership. What we needed to do was provide and deploy technology, seamless technology, to be able to reach as many farmers as possible. And that's what we have done. Now, all the farmers that are participating under these pilots, they have had their farmlands, they have been mapped. We know the precise hectareage. We know the location of the farmland. The farmers have had the biometrics taken. So you have your biometrics, your fingers, your pictures. Everything has been taken for them.
Investors at the local equities market switched to bargain hunting for shares at the close of today's trading session after recording a string of losses. Let's join Layo Adegoke for details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Nigeria's equity market bounced back after 7 straight losing streak, with gains from across 4 major sectors on the recovery by bank stocks. The all-share index climbed back to the 42,000 level following a 1.11% rebound, while the market recovered 166 billion naira from Monday's downturn. Traders attribute the positive sentiment to the reduction in treasury bills auctioned by government, as well as more liquidity in the system. Top 3 out of 11 gainers are the shares of Skybank, FCMB and Diamond Bank. First Aluminium, Lasaco and Kevington led 16 other losers. Skybank is the highest contributor to Wednesday's total turnover of 520.74 million units of shares sold in 5,694 transactions. And that's the stock market report. I am Layo Adegoke.
In the meantime, U.S. stocks have slowly regained some ground from the sell-off that hit the market last week. Global markets reporter at the NASDAQ in New York, Jill Malandrino, has more details on how Wall Street performed earlier today.
I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at NASDAQ, with an update on what has been a volatile February that saw equity markets slip into a correction defined as 10% or more drop from a recent high for the first time since February 2016 as volatility soared, trading volume surged, and stock prices plunged. The initial catalyst was higher than expected wage growth in the January jobs report, which increased fears that inflation would accelerate and that the Federal Reserve would be more aggressive in 2018. These developments caused the market's so-called fear gauge, the VIX, the volatility index, to more than double at the most stressful points last week, further accelerating selling pressures. Markets appear to have started the consolidation process in just 6 days as the major averages recouped some territory, and that leaves traders asking whether or not this is the end of the correction. Now, LPL Financial points out that what hasn't made as many headlines over the past week is that economic and earnings data have been quite strong, indicating that the market sell-off is detached from the fundamentals, making the correction normal and healthy. Now, the key data that traders will be watching going forward will all be tied to inflation and jobs, like the consumer price index. We saw that come out this morning, and because since it was better than expected, we saw that significant drop in futures just to watch it come nearly in the green at the open of trading at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. We're also going to look at producer price index and, of course, all the employment reports, as well as movement in the dollar and commodities. The more growth these data show, the more skittish markets can be due to interest rate concerns. From the NASDAQ market site in New York, I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at NASDAQ.
And in Europe, stock markets closed today's trading session sharply higher as investors shook off stronger than expected inflation data. It's mixed sentiments for African and Asian stock markets on the other side. Let's see the And that's it on Business News tonight. I'm Imana Amawe. It's back to Ijoma.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Imana. The Anambra State government has begun control and reclamation work along the Minaj Onisha Military Barracks Road in Obosi, Idemili North Local Government Area. According to the residents, erosion has destroyed many homes and swept away farms in the last 1 year. Governor Willie Obiano visited the community and gave residents the assurance that the reclamation project will be completed.
For almost a year, this gully erosion has been a nightmare for residents of Odume layout in Obosi, Idemili North Local Government Area. The residents say they woke up one day to see this dreadful sight in the heart of the layout. This has not only destroyed farmlands, many houses have been devoured. Now, their cries have been heard as the Anambra State government has embarked on an erosion control and reclamation project at the affected sites.
We had very deep gully here, very deep, and so many buildings collapsed into it. So he has done perfectly well here, perfectly well.
Governor Willie Obiano and his team have come visiting to inspect the ongoing work. The Commissioner for Road Infrastructure explains the scope of the project.
This area where we are standing could have swallowed more than 10-story building. It attracted the national and international attention. All the gubernatorial candidates came here to make one statement or the other. Your Excellency, you came here, you made a promise to Anambra that we were going to tackle this erosion menace and fill up this place.
The gully erosion has been controlled with a network of roads totaling about 6 kilometers to channel flood waters through the drains. Governor Obiano is pleased with the level of work done.
Well, I'm very happy to see the extent of work that IDC has been able to do here. You can see everything is almost fully done. And I have the reassurance of the contractor that this group of roads, because it's not only this one I'm standing on, there are about 6 of them, it's about 6 kilometers, will be ready for commissioning by end of March this year.
Odume is not the only area affected by erosion. According to the Anambra State government, the World Bank is working on 12 out of the 972 erosion sites in the state. The ball is now in the federal government's court to step up its intervention funding before erosion consumes more land.
The Department of Petroleum Resources says it's intercepted 162 trucks of petrol between January to date over what it calls product diversion. The DPR zonal spokesman, Mr. Saidu Bulama, who spoke with reporters in Abuja, attributes the success to its special intelligence unit. While promising that the culprits will be sanctioned, Saidu explains that petroleum marketers failed to provide manifests for their products, which they claim to have received. Still ahead on the news at 10, Dutch second division side Fortuna Sittard suspends head coach Sunday Olise for unacceptable actions. That's on sports. Please stay with us.